Hey, welcome back to our homestead here at Swan Branch Farm. I have a question for you today. I'm standing in front of our 100-pound propane tank that we installed on December 1st. And have you ever had the question about how long will one of these last in the winter when you're living in your RV? Stick around and I'll show you what we've found so far. If you're living in an RV full-time, then you know how important propane is. Of course, we use it for cooking on a propane stove, but the primary thing during the winter is we need to keep warm, and we use a propane furnace to do that. So living in an RV during the winter is a challenge. The cold weather comes in, the temperatures drop, and the last thing you want is to be laying in bed worrying about whether or not the propane is going to run out in the middle of the night. We've had that happen before, and that's why we went ahead and got a 100-pound tank. But we weren't sure exactly how long the tank was going to last from the first fill up till the time it runs out. One of the things that we do to try to make our propane last is we turn the temperature on our thermostat down at nighttime, usually around 60 degrees. And then when we get up in the morning, we'll raise the temperature just a little bit to knock the chill off. But then we start running a infrared space heater just to keep us warm. We also run a oil-filled radiator heater in the back room next to the window, and that sort of keeps that end of the camper warmed up. I don't really think using your gas propane stove, that's not really an issue when it comes to using a lot of propane. Really, it's based on the temperature and how warm you want it to stay inside your living space. So let me tell you what we found. We installed our first propane tank on December 1st, and it lasted 25 days. The weather during that time was, for the most part, it was typical of winter around here. We're in Virginia. Many times the lows in our area won't get below 10 degrees until the heart of winter. And that's what happened in January. Once we refilled the propane tank on December 26th, we went 27 days without having to fill it up again. So on January 22nd, we filled it up again, and that's when the cold weather really hit us hard. We had probably 2 weeks straight where we didn't get above freezing, and it was really tough to manage some of those times. We had the thought in the back of our mind, what happens if we run out? And then we have to figure out how to go and get more, say, during the middle of a snowstorm. We ended up going and buying a second 100-pound propane tank on January 30th just to be able to be ready to switch out the tanks and have it standing right there so we can just change the line over to the new tank. The next time that we had to change the propane tank was on February 8th. So that means it took us 17 days to go through that 100 pounds of propane. The truth is, it's hard to know exactly how much propane you're going to use because every RV is different. As a general rule of thumb, I'm thinking that we are going to start expecting that we can get at least 20 days out of every tank unless it's really cold. That gives us some good information going forward on how often we'll have to plan on getting a refill. We'd like to know how your experience is living in an RV during the winter in a colder climate. Do you have to change it more often or less often? Do you have other temporary electric heaters set up during the day to try to make it last longer also? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here at Swan Branch.